The happiest person I know? I've never thought about that before.
My name's Rhianne, I'm 21 and I'm seeking happiness because I'm a bit of a stress head.
Happiness is, I think, can be measured from both within and outside, because I think there's pre-wired things in your brain and stuff, like genetics, that will have a part to play in how happy you are. But then there's also outside things like how many good friends you have. Like, can you honestly say to yourself that you've got a group of true friends, and how you see yourself in the world and how people react to you. As anxious as I can get, I always have that something that does force me to go out and talk to people, because that's one of the one things at one point that I sort of had left. It was the only thing I had the confidence to do. So I just never wanted to lose that, because I think when you lose that, that is your battle with anxiety, you've lost it.
But the way you hold your head, are you being misled? Oh, shut up, let's go to bed. Well, maybe I'm just out of touch, or maybe I'm just thinking too much.
I'm in the capital of Germany to escape the greyness of the British summer and meet some of the interesting characters that Berlin has to offer. I'm hoping they can give me an insight into what exactly it is they do to be happy. First on the list, Klaus.
So Klaus, you're a life coach. Why do people come to you?
They come because they feel uncomfortable, or they have thoughts which make them not happy, and we say this is a kind of stress, and it's my job to look, is it only stress, or is it more because I'm a coach, I am not a doctor, or I'm not a psychologist.
I've heard about this workshop you can go to called laugh yoga or laughter yoga. Do you think that would work? Because obviously you're just forcing yourself to laugh for no reason.
It works, definitely. So you can test it on your own. If you look in the mirror and you give a smile, you try it and think, oh, that's stupid what I'm doing, it's really stupid, but I try. And after approximately 1 minute, you think, oh, it's not so bad, and then somehow I'm feeling better.
Klaus's enthusiasm persuaded me to take the plunge and attend a laughter yoga session. Although it sounds random, there is a structure to these sessions, which involves introductory activities, dance, roleplay and meditation to ensure everyone reaps the benefits. Eventually, forced laughter then turns into real laughter, making all of the participants happy and stress-free.
If you look back, what are human beings, or how lived they 100,000 years ago? They had nearly the same body and the same mind. They had a different stress than today. And what they have was a group which could together do things and had together do. And what we not learned enough is to talk, to take time for me, myself, just to sit here and do nothing.
Leading the laughter yoga session was a lovely lady named Sigrid.
Where did the inspiration come from for you to start running laughter yoga sessions?
It's from Madan Kataria. He's an Indian doctor, and he wanted to write an article about the healthiness of laughter, and he found that there was so much written that he said, why don't we do it?
Why did you feel like you needed to laugh more?
I do it because before I started laughter yoga, I remarked that I didn't laugh so very much. All my life I laughed very much, and then there was not so much laughing in my life, and therefore I started with laughter yoga. Sometimes you feel some sadness or something else, but it's needful to come into your feelings, all your feelings, not only laughing, but all your feelings are. And most time, people who don't laugh so very much, they are not able to feel their feelings, other feelings too.
Okay, so I've just come out of laughter yoga. I actually feel kind of low, like I'm all laughed out. I think it's more of a social thing. I can definitely see people there. They're there to see each other, something to do. But I think if every person on the planet went and did that when they're sad, I think if you feel sad and you try and laugh, it makes you feel worse.
My time in Germany had come to an end. I was ready to go back to Birmingham and continue my journey. I arranged to meet a psychologist at a park which happened to be thriving with Canadian geese. I took this as an opportunity to ask him about why laughter yoga just didn't seem to work on me.
So I went to laughter yoga in Berlin. I was expecting to come out feeling very on a high because I'd been laughing for so long, but I actually felt quite low and almost laughed out.
I think it can be a number of things. Basically, if we've got a high, then often a lows follow. It also depends what's going on in your life during the day, and during the immediate period, what your mood was like, what you were there for. All of those pressures can have a different way, a different filter in how you interpret. If we're stressed, we tend to look at the world through a very narrow range of filters. It's almost like blinkers. So we've just got a survival response rather than a kind of thriving response. So if we can put ourselves into a relaxed state, then we can start with, it's a better platform to look at the rest of our lives, to set our goals. It's just a better basis.
What do you think determines happiness? What's like the main factor?
The main factors that determine happiness are going to be social factors and economic factors. And we know this from all the research in positive psychology. If we look at the stress and happiness of people, it tends to be lower if they have pets, cats and dogs, they stroke the dog. Also the cat and the dog get something out of it as well.
Yeah, it's such amazing watching children and people with him, and
Do you think he like loves it just as much as they do?
oh, he
This is Dirk and Buddy. Buddy is a pets as therapy dog, which means he spreads joy by visiting care homes, schools and hospitals, to name a few.
and he's a blood donor as well. He does more charity work than I've ever done. He comes twice a week or so, and they never get bored of him.
And he knows you'll get fed.
And he knows he gets bored. But they never get bored of him. And he doesn't get stressed. I mean, he's usually his tail's going like anything. And I mean, when we go to the schools and the children read to him, he then falls asleep on the floor, and I have to pretend that he's interested in the story, and he's just getting really lazy and he falls asleep.
Would you say there's a science behind happiness?
Most definitely a science of happiness. You think about there's something called positive psychology, and it's been going for about 30 years, and looking at things like learned optimism and looking how we can put ourselves in very positive states. So for instance, if you've ever experienced that moment where you've lost sense of time and you're doing a hobby, it's called being in flow. And the idea is if we spend more time doing those kinds of things, that is a definition of happiness. So it's looking for goals that stretch us and engage us, and it's also the way we explain the world.
There was one girl there, she wouldn't brush her own teeth, and then we got her brushing Buddy's teeth, and then the nurse said next time we went back, she brushes her own teeth now.
Aww.
And it's things like that. It's hard to explain unless you actually see it. It's hard to explain. And there was one boy that he read a book as if he was on an express train. You couldn't understand a word he was saying. Now he does it nice and slowly because Buddy wants to hear what he's actually saying. And he was on about monsters in this one story, and he turned his head and I says, "Oh look, you scared him now." So now he whispers any time he comes to a monster.
So he does so much more than just like
cheering people up. He actually encourages them to do loads of other
Yeah,
things.
it's like
reading.
it's like in the summer. They'll get up and they're walking around the garden and get them out the chair. You will notice here, once they're in the chairs, they will not move out the chairs. They've all got their own little place where they want to sit.
Yeah. Would the world be a better place if everybody had a dog or an animal? You know, they say dogs are man's best friend and everything, and you can tell on their faces how much it cheers them up and that they really do look forward to it. Dirk told me loads of stories about different people he's helped in special schools and helping children to read and be more confident, and I just feel like it just helps a big variety of people and actually works, and I've seen that firsthand. And even me personally, I felt a bit happier. I mean, the dog wasn't even coming to visit me, but it's just something to have a fuss over and have a chat about.
Meeting all these people had given me confidence and inspiration to continue trying out new things. I had the idea of running my own kind of session, a hugging workshop. I thought I'd run the idea by Gary first to see if he had any advice.
If you're going to put on an experiment, it's important, if it's a group of strangers, that it would seem very weird if a group of strangers just went up and all started hugging, and I don't think that would be very relaxing at all. So it's kind of getting to know, putting in getting to know stages, little exercises that would break down the barriers first, and also to set some ground rules.
I've put on a cuddle workshop because it is the pinnacle of documentary. This is where the inspiration came from, reading an article about cuddle workshops in London that were asking the question about why do we go to these kind of things? Like, is it not a bit odd?
Cuddling releases oxytocin, the feel-good hormone, which is probably why a select few have decided to run cuddle workshops where strangers can meet and embrace, letting the stresses of everyday life pass by. I managed to persuade the Kids Adventure Society at Birmingham City University to join me for the hugging workshop.
Ground rules, it's not sexual at all. Don't touch people in funny areas. But yeah, if you feel it awkward, just go and get like a cake and sit on the sofa for a bit. I think that is most of the ground rules. Just no funny business.
I was really nervous to take control in this situation as I felt pretty clueless. I started by getting to know each person's name along with a few icebreaker activities to take the edge off. I knew the situation had the potential to be very awkward and I wanted to make sure it was comfortable and enjoyable for everybody. It didn't just involve hugging. We massaged each other too, because who doesn't love a good back rub? The philosophy of cuddle workshops teaches us to enjoy the act of giving and not just receiving. And then we hugged.
Before the session, I felt apprehensive and anxious. Now, I feel really relieved and quite buzzy. Like, I can feel all day just like buzzing at a very nice rate. Does that even make sense? I am cheerful and love.
I feel like I'm less woo excited and more woo excited.
I'm just really shocked. Really shocked that I could actually enjoy being in that close proximity of people and not want to scream and run away and get out. I think even doing something like meeting people to talk about happiness ironically made me very stressed
and I'm really happy that I managed to do it. It's reiterated to me things I sort of had in the back of my head anyway. I sort of thought about how important it is to have good friends and just stable, supportive people. More than one person said it, is social interaction is our livelihood. Like we've survived thousands and thousands of years ago because of our social interactions, and that's how I think we need to go on.
I'm just out of touch, maybe I'm just thinking too much.